So I am seeing Kalki 2898 AD tomorrow, and I'm super pumped. I think it looks cool as hell. I've reacted to some of the trailers here on the channel, but based on some of those reactions and some of the feedback I've gotten from you guys, I am still missing a ton of mythology and background to the story. So a lot of you all recommended that I watch these videos that were released by the production company, and the director Nag Ashwin himself speaks on a lot of these ideas. So I'm going to sit down and react to the first video called Prelude of Kalki 2898, and I'll give you my feedback on it. But I'm super pumped about this movie, and I feel everyone's passion coming through these videos. So thank you so much for educating me and getting me more involved in this space. I've also started a brand new YouTube channel called Rewatch Ryan, and it's going to be dedicated entirely to foreign cinema, primarily Indian cinema, but I'm going to put all of my foreign cinema discussions over on Rewatch Ryan. I'm still going to put out content on Rewatch Ryan, so you can stay right here, but Rewatch Ryan is going to be where a lot more coverage goes. So subscribe to that if you have not already. I greatly appreciate it. Let's watch the Prelude of Kalki 2898.
How the first chapter of our world is going to look like. In India, we've grown up the epics, especially Mahabharata and Ramayana.
I do recognize those names.
Another
a lot of you guys
to
have
go,
told
and
me
that
about
age
that.
is the final battle. In India, we've grown up with so much of the epics, especially Mahabharata and Ramayana, being part of our culture and everyday life. Like, especially not just religious, but just like even just stories that we tell our kids. And
well, I've
so,
seen those
when you
sets.
grow up and you're watching a lot of, I guess, foreign films which are in the either comic book space or Marvel or Spider-Man or Star Wars or any of those things, you always wonder, like, where are our superheroes? Because they are as heroic and they are as larger than life as anybody else. I think I heard
Yeah, I can
that
definitely
slowly
tell that
people
Kalki's going to
across
fit right into that.
India were more interested, or they were starting to think about making movies like this. I heard some talk about somebody talking about Immortals and some studio trying to think about it, and I was like, okay, now it's time for us to. And the world of Kalki is something that we are saying is almost like a sequel to the last epic that we have of these characters of the
Sequel
previous
to the
yuga.
last
So the previous
epic.
yuga in India, in Indian culture, we have 4 yugas, right? So each yuga has a sort of a dramatic battle and a great.
Is a yuga
versus
like an
evil
age?
Sort of a setup, and each time an avatar comes,
Like a period of time?
to restore the balance. And the last great epic that we have is the Mahabharata, where it was like a huge war with, the most powerful and the most epic kings, and they fight in this dramatic battle, and they are, one side is protected by an avatar, a god figure, which is Krishna. Final epic was the last story that we know, and all of our greatest characters from there have an ending, or some of them have an open ending, or we know that this is where this story ended, but we still have another age to go, and that age is the final battle. That age is where the end essentially has to begin, and everything has to come to a climax. Like, all of these stories, all of these 9 avatars, all of these 4 yugas, all of these battles which are small and big that happened since the creation of time has to end somewhere.
Wow.
So we tried to
It's a really big idea.
write that, and that's how we started. And that's where the last story of our mythology sort of ends. And now we are meant to be in the last age, which is called the Kali Yuga, and we don't really have a story of this era or of this yuga because it's still happening, obviously. And I just thought it is a very interesting idea. If we start writing a sequel to the Mahabharata, what would happen? Because it ended there, and Kali continues from Dwapar Yuga, and he has to come into the Kali Yuga. So now if he comes in, now our heroes have to come in as well. And how is this epic going to be? How are we going to write this? And
It
I
looks
wanted to
so
write it in a way
good.
that it's today, and it's for the whole world to be part of it now, because it's not just because it was never, I think, ever just one country. It's always the world. So
Yeah, I
we
can
write it in
definitely feel that.
sensibility, and Hence, 5 years later, we are
Wow.
here and we
A
are
5-year
close
production.
to being able to share with you how the first part, how the first chapter of our world is going to look like.
Wow. How cool is that? All right, so here's what I got from that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there are ages in Indian history, and 2898 is the beginning of the end of the last yuga. But it's a chapter in Indian history that hasn't been written. So it's like historical. Maybe that's not the word. That's an oxymoron. It's almost like a predictive future, if you will. You're sort of writing what you think is going to happen, but it also involves these larger than life characters. So it's like this weird mix of pulling from ancient cultures and history, but it's also like your own cinematic mythology, I guess, in a way. I hope I'm saying that right, but that's what it feels like to me. It's just an interesting amalgamation of cultures. And I liked seeing that it's kind of influenced by what they consider to be foreign films, but of course Star Wars and Marvel, because I definitely get a sense that this is, as epic and as big of a deal over there as those movies are over here. What I haven't really heard from you guys in the comment section is how you feel about American movies in general, because when I put out my content, I typically just hear from, as far as I know, American audiences. I might be wrong about that, but the few times that I've covered Indian movies, I haven't gotten a lot of feedback about American movies. So that is really interesting to hear from. I also like that he touched on the fact that this movie is for the whole world and that he made it for an international audience. And I can feel that just for whatever reason. Kalki and like even RRR, they just bled through and made their way over here to my consciousness. And now I'm just really excited to be a part of it. I think this is going to be big for India, and I'm hoping it's big for the entire world. So just what a cool thing to be a part of. And I only have to wait a day to watch this movie at the time that I'm recording this video. Seems like you guys have been waiting years, maybe even longer, for a story like this. And just, it's very cool. So anyway, if you like what you see, please subscribe to the Reboot Ryan YouTube channel. The link is in the description down below. And I'm also going to react to the World of Kalki 2898 video over there. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.